my name is Ted Smith. I'm the president of the International Hempology 101 Society. And this month, we are celebrating 20 years of activism in Victoria, British Columbia. And so I thought to celebrate these, I would share some of the stories of days of old, because we've done a lot in the last 20 years with Hempology in all sorts of places and things. And the main thrust initially was every Wednesday night at 7 we would gather in downtown Victoria and smoke cannabis, obviously, but we'd do education or various things to have fun, and at times came up with these really crazy ideas that we followed through on. And so one of the really fun and wild things that we used to do a lot was hotboxing various government buildings in downtown by bringing various curtains and blankets and sheets and covering up areas around the buildings. And we pretty much scoped out every place in downtown Victoria that we could have a large group smoking pot in, and we actually came up with quite a few. One of our favorites that we still do is hotboxing the courthouse. So every Halloween we actually still have a Halloween costume contest. We hotbox the front steps, hanging curtains on either side, and do that again on Canada Day for 420, actually in the middle of the day. But back initially, one of the other ideas that we had was hotboxing the City Hall, because on Douglas Street in Victoria, just at City Hall, there's this little alcove. There's maybe 4 or 5 steps, but there's like a wall at the front there, and then there's like a space before the actual doors open up. And so we figured out that we could get these like long curtains on sticks and make 2 sets of them, one for the top and one for the bottom. And we actually even refined it later. We bring an extra stick for the middle of the top one so that we could hold it tight so the smoke wouldn't escape out the top of the roof. And so we'd hold these curtains across the front of the doorway, and we could have 60, 70 people smoking pot inside the front steps of City Hall. And there was a couple other places that we came up with some designs for this, but really the City Hall hotbox was the best and the most fun. And so it wasn't enough for us to just smoke pot. We took it a little further. I should have one of the songbooks. We'll show a picture of one, I guess. But we've made a little songbook of Cannabis Carols, and it's a whole bunch of little Christmas songs that are just so much fun to sing. Rudolph the Red-Haired Outdoor and many other classics that are in it. And so we would also not only hotbox City Hall, but we would go around and Cannabis Carol through the downtown, hotboxing and singing our cannabis songs. We just did that once a year, but my goodness, it was fun. And I would have to say that by far the best year, was a year that there's scaffolding all over the front steps of the City Hall. So it kind of messed us up, because we've got a lot of little routines with our group, and we try to keep things as secure as possible, but it's a bit of a risk. We sometimes have people passing out some roach joints here and there to make sure that the crowd is doing well with that end of things. And so we try to make sure that if the police do show up, we get nice and fair warning of that. However, the scaffolding just messed everybody up, and there was only a couple people on the front or on the sidewalk outside of the hot box. Everybody else was inside the hot box with me, smoking pot and singing songs. And a couple police showed up, and they just kind of like snuck up so that none of the our security got to see them in time. And so I'm standing in the box, singing and smoking a joint, and look over, and the next thing I see are 2 police officers standing amongst 60 people, mostly young people, 20 or under, honestly. And we're all just singing songs, and there's probably a good 15 joints going around the circle. I sort of remember the guy beside me got totally freaked out because he literally just about passed a joint to a cop, as I said before, but he wasn't expecting that. And he went, holy shit, and just, but the police didn't arrest anybody. They just kind of like stood there for half a second while the party continued, and then they started to say, no, this is wrong, and it had to end, and we had to go, and so it was, something where honestly at that point we were just happy as hell they weren't arresting people. Obviously they weren't prepared at all. 2 police officers amongst 50 aren't really in a position to start arresting people, even though they're, we're potheads and we're totally docile. They're trained to avoid situations like that unless there's real life at risk, right? They have procedures, but anyway, yeah, it was pretty funny. Some people I don't even think finished or put their joint out. I think they just kept it hidden from the police. So, there was only 2 of them. There wasn't much they could do really, but we did stop singing and marched off our merry way down through the rest of downtown, smoking, singing our Cannabis Carols, which is a hell of a lot of fun. But we don't do that anymore. It just petered out over time, and we do have a bunch of other fun rituals and things that we do these days, but a lot of these old stories, again, are undocumented and really just memories for those of us that were there, and it was been a lot of fun sharing. Thanks for coming out, everybody. Watch cannabisdigest.ca for more stories of Hempology 101 and the ongoing story of cannabis.